The New York Attorney General, who Donald Trump and his minions have threatened to jail, has fired back at Donald Trump and told him to, what's the phrase, legal AF himself, that they are not going to dismiss or vacate the judgment for $450 million for civil fraud that the Trump organization was adjudged to have committed before he was even president, not when he was president. And I'm going to break it all down for you with a new response by Judy Vale, the Deputy Attorney General from New York, and how she's responded to John Sauer, who reminded everyone in his last writing to the Attorney General that he is the incoming Solicitor General for the United States. Not that any of that matters. I'm Michael Popok, Midas Touch Network and Legal AF. Let's talk about the new letter we just got from the Office of the Attorney General, in which she ever so politely tells John Sauer, the lawyer for Donald Trump, soon to be the incoming likely Solicitor General of the United States, to go pound sand, that they are not going to dismiss the civil judgment having nothing to do with the presidency, having everything to do with the Trump organization and their persistent fraud, as that term is used under a unique statute in New York that I practice in, called 63-12 of the executive law, which allows the Attorney General to stop persistent fraud in the operation of business. That was an 11-week bench trial by Judge Engoron after summary judgment already granted to the people of the state of New York against Donald Trump. This is a case that Alina Habba helped handle. You know, she's now the counselor to the president on the incoming Trump administration, but she lost almost every case she ever handled for Donald Trump. And now we've got the letter. I'm going to read it to you so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. First, let me frame it. Sauer for Trump sends a letter to the Attorney General telling her that she should immediately vacate the judgment, the $450 million, which is up on appeal with the Appellate Division, First Department in New York, the Intermediary Appellate Court. Get rid of it. Why? Because Abraham Lincoln wants her to. Because George Washington's farewell address compels her to. Because John F. Kennedy, in his address at Harvard, would require it to bring the country together, to unite the country, and to put down, to pound swords into plowshares, to bring this country together in the only way that Donald Trump knows how to do. Does that sound like the Donald Trump that you and I know? This John Sauer letter of this lofty oratory, Abraham Lincoln's Thanksgiving Day address, George Washington's farewell speech, right? Because on the Mount Rushmore of great Americans, we're going to see Donald Trump nestled between George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and JFK. Come on. So she gets the letter, and in there, he can't help himself, John Sauer, who had some success for Trump. I'm not going to take it away from him. He was successful twice in two appeals before the United States Supreme Court in favor of Donald Trump. Yes, he was. But he couldn't help himself but to remind her that he's going to be, almost threatening her, he's going to be the Solicitor General, the 10th Justice of the United States Supreme Court in a month or two. All right, like that has anything to do with it. So now we got the letter from Ms. Vale. Let me read it to you because I think it's not that long, and I think you'll find it very interesting. So here we go. Let's take it one at a time here. Letter is dated December 9th, 2024 to John Sauer at James Otis Law Group in St. Louis, Missouri. Dear Mr. Sauer, I'm writing in response to your letter dated November 26th, just before Thanksgiving. The office will not stipulate to vacate the final judgment already entered by Supreme Court New York County in this action, or otherwise seek to dismiss this action. As you know, this is a civil enforcement action under Executive Law 63-12 against the Trump Organization and its top executives for fraudulent and unlawful actions to misleadingly inflate Donald J. Trump's personal net worth in business transactions in order for him to obtain more favorable terms on loans and insurance policies than he otherwise would have received. This civil enforcement action was filed following a multi-year investigation. She went on to say that it also was the result of a 11-week bench trial before Judge Engoron, and that there is an appeal that's pending. She on page 1 says, your letter presents no basis for this office to seek to vacate the final judgment or to dismiss this action. Right. And then she continues. Let's continue. On page 2, the Supreme Court decision did not impose any criminal sanctions on Trump. Here she's reminding them of two things. One, this is not a criminal action. This is a civil action. And you're already, Trump, participating in the appeal to try to knock down the $500 million judgment. And doesn't seem to be impairing or impeding your office of the presidency, because there's already case law both under Clinton versus Jones involving Bill Clinton from 1997 and the recent Trump versus United States case that John Sauer participated in. There's the little dig, the little shiv at John Sauer. You want to be Solicitor General? Let me cite a case you were involved with and you should know better. So here's the office saying, by the way, under those two cases, civil lawsuits arising from unofficial conduct may proceed while the president is in office. So we're already at the judgment stage. Only thing that's left is the appeal. So no, we're not going to get rid of it because you want us to turn $500 million in favor of the people of the state of New York into toilet paper. As a gun owner for personal protection, I also am concerned about gun safety and securing my weapon in the house so that it doesn't pose a danger to friends and loved ones. Before I found Stopbox USA, the only place I could store my handgun was in my fingerprint gun safe. But what about those times when you're between the safe and taking it to a gun range, or you're in another part of the house completely and you want to have your weapon nearby, but not just laying out, or you're traveling with it, including at the airport? And then I found Stopbox USA and its instant access portable gun case. When you need a gun-safe alternative that doesn't require batteries and has a custom mechanical finger lock without any electronics, so you can use it even in the case of a power outage or in the dark. As soon as my wife and I trained on how to open the box without looking, but with a secure custom finger code, we instantly looked at each other and said, got it. And we enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing that we can access our firearm in an emergency from anywhere in the house, but keep it out of harm's way of visitors and children. If you're like me and you own a handgun for self-defense, your storage likely fits into one of two frustrating categories. It's either locked away, safe but out of reach in an emergency, or it's unsecured, leaving it vulnerable to anyone. Stopbox USA saw the problem and designed a groundbreaking solution, the Stopbox Pro. With the Stopbox Pro, you'll never have to choose between security and readiness again. Its ingenious push-button locking system gives you fast, reliable access when every second matters without the hassle of keys or reliance on batteries. It's 100% mechanical, so it works every time, no power needed. With Stopbox USA, you can finally have both security and readiness. It's also battery-free, so you never have to worry about your lock not working. All Stopbox products are proudly made in the USA in their own facility. Not only does this ensure the high-quality craftsmanship of every product sent out, it creates meaningful jobs and opportunities for American workers. For a limited time only, our listeners are getting a crazy deal. Not only do you get 10% off your entire order when you use code LEGALAF at StopboxUSA.com, but they're also giving you buy one, get one free for their Stopbox Pro. That's 10% off and a free Stopbox Pro when you use code LEGALAF at StopboxUSA.com. Discover a better way to balance security and readiness with Stopbox. Judith Vale goes on to say, there's also no merit to your claim that the pendency of defendant's own appeal will impede Trump's official duties as president. In other words, this is his appeal, not ours. The ordinary burdens of civil litigation do not impede the president's official duties in any way that violates the U.S. Constitution. See Clinton. I like that one, 520 U.S.C. 705, and see Zervos, another case involving Donald Trump. In any event, Mr. Trump does not face any such litigation burdens here. The trial is over, final judgment has been rendered, and defendant's appeal to the First Department has been fully submitted and argued. That was about 90 days ago. Mr. Trump's official duties will not be impeded while awaiting the First Department's decision, nor will his duties be impeded if further appeals of this action are filed. Those appeals will be handled primarily by his appellate lawyers, meaning not you, John Sauer, because you've been kicked upstairs to be Solicitor General, and any consultations Mr. Trump may have with those attorneys about appeals will not plausibly impose any unconstitutional burden. This is what I've been saying in other hot takes, which is Donald Trump's sort of in a box now because he's taken appeals of his civil suits. And at the same time, he's going to argue like all the Capitol Police and Metro suits and Jan 6 suits against him for violation of the KKK Act and civil rights for those that were injured or maimed or disabled or worse during the attack on the Capitol. He's appealing all of those issues. So you can't on one hand say, well, I can maintain an appeal and that doesn't impair or impede my presidential powers. And on the other hand, say, dismiss these cases or stay these cases for 4 years because I can't be bothered. And that's sort of what the Deputy Attorney General here, Judith Vale, is saying back to John Sauer. And you should know better. You want to throw in my face that you're going to be the Solicitor General of the United States? Let me throw a couple of cases back at your face, that you were involved with, and you should know better. So the answer, sir, is good day. There is the door. Grab your hat. The New York is not going to rip up a $500 million judgment because Abraham Lincoln gave a Thanksgiving Day address or George Washington gave a farewell address. We're all waiting for the day that Donald Trump gives a farewell address and be done with all of this. But we wanted to report right here on Legal AF and the Midas Touch Network. I had been waiting for it. I knew that Letitia James, who's been mercilessly, vehemently attacked by MAGA and Donald Trump and lawyers around him. I've seen comments made by people like Mike Davis in Donald Trump's inner circle that they're going to put Letitia James's fat ass in jail. You've got Kash Patel in a book he called Gangsters in Government, listing Letitia James as somebody he's going to investigate in jail. And do you see her being fearful? Do you see her saying, oh, I'm quaking in my boots. You're going to investigate me? You may prosecute me? That's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor. I mean, I've pushed to have all these people get immunity because I just think it's a way that Joe Biden can avoid a lot of this. But if they don't want to and they want to stand in the line of fire, Letitia James, I wouldn't. If I was a betting man, Letitia James versus Donald Trump, Letitia James all day long and twice on Sunday. She's going to be leading the charge, just to put a little marker here on this hot take. Letitia James, along with about 16 other attorney generals, but her in the lead with the California attorney general, are going to be leading the charge against Donald Trump every day, every week, filing lawsuits against his executive orders, against his attempts to deny birthright citizenship to children who were born here. His efforts to deport people who will be killed if they return to their countries. Separate families, put them in cages, fly migrants around, put them in detention and concentration camps, deny sanctuary city status to cities and states that want to protect the underprivileged and those who are disenfranchised. She is, everything they try to do, take away Obamacare, try to cut entitlements, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Letitia James, remember her name. She's going to be fighting for you. We're fighting for her on Legal AF and the Midas Touch Network. So a couple of ways you can support this independent, no outside investor media network is follow all of our contributors, follow Legal AF. I'm doing a new show on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. called Popak Live right here on Midas Touch at the intersection of law and politics. We've got our full-length podcast, which is Legal AF. And we got the new channel, Legal AF, the YouTube channel, in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. Help us grow that channel, that pro-democracy channel as well. So until my next reporting on all things Legal AF, I'm Michael Popak. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.